It's not even debatable. It's not even debatable. It's not even an argument. There are zero valid arguments to counter this statement. And that is, or actually this question, who is the greatest comedian of all time? I mean, besides me. This guy right here. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor, by far the greatest comedian of all time. The greatest of all time. By far. Some people say George Carlin, but that's kind of like comparing Babe Ruth to Ted Williams. You know what I mean? It's like one of them had a kick-ass, very, very, very long, consistent career, and the other one came out just fucking hitting bangers all the time. Stand-up specials, live performances, movies, TV. He could work clean. He could work dirty. He was always himself, 100% raw, unfiltered, and went full on. Full tilt. Lived life full tilt. You know? Lived life full tilt. And so I just want to stop here and pay my respects at the Richard Pryor statue, located right here in the heart of Peoria, Illinois, where he grew up. This is Richard Pryor's birthplace, if you didn't know that. Most comedians know that, and if you don't know that, as a comedian, you might want to seriously consider a career change. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of got to learn the history of your craft, whether it's comedy, whether, I don't give a fuck if you're a banker. Learn the history of your profession. Sam Kinison, also from Peoria, Illinois, by the way. I'll let this bus go by. But I haven't been able to find the Sam Kinison childhood home. If I could, I'm sure it's on Google somewhere, if there's even one here in Peoria. But there must be something about Peoria, Illinois. There must be something about it. You know, like in vaudeville days, they used to say, if it plays in Peoria, it can play anywhere. And then this town is also the childhood home of two of the greatest comedians of all time. The greatest comedian of all time, I mean, other than myself, the mighty Jer-dog, of course. Right here he is, Richard Pryor. So I just want to stop by, pay my respects, get a little bit of extra inspiration. He grew up in a brothel, by the way, kind of like King Arthur. And what is it about that? What is it about that creates a drive in somebody when they come from the worst possible situation? They grow up in some of the worst possible circumstances, overcome all the adversity, all the hardships to turn into one of the greatest comedic performers of all time. What is that? I wish I had that kind of adversity in a way when I was a kid. You know, it's one of those things, like, it just doesn't go with me, these excuses people want to make why they can't achieve their goals. Or they say, oh, I was brought up this way, or I grew up in this town or that place, or I had this certain type of childhood. This motherfucker grew up in a shithole town. Well, back in the day, now Peoria's pretty nice. This guy grew up in a shithole town, in shithole situation, the height of racism, born in a fucking brothel, you know, oh shit. All right, I think we're dying. In any case, what's that, Rich? I know I got the batteries dying. I got a show to do anyway. I will go into more detail about my man love for Richard Pryor on my video on Monday, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or as close as possible. Until then, dog bless America.